Middle East is very important for our remittance earners. It is a good destination. Second thing is Middle East is still the hub of the energy production. Sir, my question is, what are the global implications for energy, migration, refugee flows for any new phase in the Middle East conflict? Do you feel it, or do you have any explanation on this particular question?
Thanks for tying the question towards the Middle East, and of course in relationship to Bangladesh, we have multiple Bengalis, thousands of Bengalis in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and of course in Oman as well. So these are the countries of the Gulf that have attracted Bengali people, and of course there is a reciprocal relationship between the various countries in relationship to Bangladesh. But as I was listening to Mr. Ali Ahmed talking about Bangladesh's relationship with Israel, if there was ever a chance, our neighboring country India has similarities between Israel, which I must mention on this show. They both share something called radical ideology, which is very important for both of their comical rises. If we look at Israel, Israel seems to be the chosen ones who were meant for this land, or so how they seem. And if you look at India, there is of course a Hindutva ideology of the same radical elements. It's world media tries every now and then. World media thinks that is the Muslim ideology, which is a very threat to the entire humanity. But one cannot ignore that other states do have such an ideology issue. Now, once again, back to your question, the states in the Gulf, of course, require labor, which it is readily availably found in Bangladesh. And of course, these remittance warriors are, of course, doing their level best to support the Bangladeshi economy. But there is a news regarding Saudi Arabia, and if you see the gold price, the commodity like gold, which has risen quite so much in the last few months, Saudi Arabia has claimed that they have found a new gold mine in the holy cities, and whether or not this new gold mine would be adding on to their economy is now a question. And of course, if you look at Saudi, they are planning on building the line, the city that's going to be spanning throughout various regions in Saudi Arabia. Of course, that will require a lot of manpower, which Bangladesh can definitely help aiding on.
Donald Trump's initiatives to bring the peace. My question is to you, do you really believe world is moving into peace?
Well, moving into peace does require people like Donald Trump to fend away from selling weaponry towards various war fronts. Today,
especially to Israel.
Especially to Israel, he also said that Israel wanted weapons which I could not give. These were the comments between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. But if you look at Southern America, today it's Colombia in the crosshairs of the US administration, and of course Venezuela in large and in grand, those boats that the US military are firing upon. They all cite that it is narco trafficking that is going on between Southern America and of course the United States of America. And the Caribbean is now under some kind of threat. The US military is actively pursuing anyone who is trying to move over any kind of goods, whether it be drugs or otherwise, towards the United States of America. And if you look at America itself, all 50 states have taken part in the No Kings rally that has taken to by storm.
And why remain limited to the US? It also spread over the major countries of the US.
Of course.
Except Britain. That is because if they say no kings, that becomes against the king they
contradictory
have.
In
and that
the
will be
UK monarchy. Yes.
So they didn't start this. But the rest of the major countries of Europe also joined that. They estimated it is 7 million people who came out on the streets. So it is no easy thing.
So if 7 million people come out to the streets, as per your question.
Especially in Europe and America, 7 million.
Yes.
It's not Bangladesh or India.
So that is the prospect of peace is still a very far-fetched option for Donald Trump.
And somebody is claiming he may be able to bring peace with the poor nations, but he will be failed to bring peace inside America. US-China trade and rare earth tensions. I just want to give you a little summary. The United States Treasury Department warned that China's new export controls on rare earth and critical minerals risk global decoupling from China. I want to draw your attention, sir. that is, what are the likely short and medium term impacts will be on Bangladesh or in perspective of South Asia if China's rare earth export controls escalates?
Now, couple of years ago, we did not see the term rare earths, but we saw the term intellectual property or likewise. And the factor of China is as technology develops day by day, year by year, we see its dependencies and how humans are dependent on technology for their daily needs and their daily work. If not, it has definitely been better 25 years ago than than today, of course. But right now, the rare earth, why is it so important? Of course, these technological advancements do require rare earths, especially semiconductor markets require such things. And of course, you look at the world's two giant economies, China and the US, right now they're battling each other over the rights of how one can use rare earths in the field of technology. And of course, technology is the solid foundation right now in this rare earth argument, as you were saying. But if economies are concerned, the prices of common goods have been going up year by year, month by month. And right now, I would just like to say that the tensions between China and US are ever so high. And we know that Donald Trump is set to meet Asia Pacific leaders, Japan and South Korea, end of this month as a part of the Asia Pacific Economic Corridor or Cooperation. So we'll see how United States expects from its Asian allies in this part of the world.
Right, sir. One of my I call him genius. He works in Washington Post. He told me, write down one question. You will ask this question to your panelist before Donald Trump leave the White House. I said, curiously, I said, what is that? I want to write it. I want to ask this question you today for both of you gentlemen. Question is, today Donald Trump is saying, India, don't buy Russian oil. If you buy, I will put 100% tariff on you. The day will come, America or Donald Trump will start to say, don't buy, don't import Chinese raw materials, Chinese products. If you buy, I will put 100% tariffs on you. I agreed with this question because I am watching every moves by Donald Trump, and I have faith on that gentleman that Donald Trump may say this. What is your comment on that?
For the last 25 years, first I'll handle it, but for the last 25 years or so, China has been known as the world's manufacturer. It could be household items, it could be military equipment, it could be advancements in technology.
A to Z.
A to Z, everything has been made in China. There is the comical rise, made in China. Almost every good you will find in the consumer market, it will be made in China. Of course, it has various levels of quality, but for the United States to say that if you buy goods from China, I will put a burden on, put a tariff or slam a tariff on you, it only comes to show how far the manufacturing in America has been lacking while China has taken upon this opportunity. But that's as far as I am able to comment on this matter, as they are retaliatory between the two nations, not through warfare but through economic means.
Global alignments. First, I want to draw your attention, sir. The Keir Starmer, British Prime Minister, visited India under a Vision 2035 framework emphasizing trade, defence, climate and innovation. 5 points they have agreed, and they will sign free trade agreement. Yes. India is a country of 150 crore people. Britain is one of the leading country in Europe. How do you see this new friendship?
It's not a new friendship, it's an old friendship. Yeah. It's a colonial friendship, if you would like to call it. And of course, the past PM, Rishi Sunak, is also someone of heritage from India. But that's as far as I will say. I hope that the two nations can figure out how one can benefit from another.
Do you advise the Bangladesh Minister of Foreign Affairs to work on the relationship we badly needed, desperately needed, right, this for our own development?
Right now we need almost 300 members in the parliament before we can understand what kind of trade deal, if not energy deal, we can pursue with not in our neighborhood but also around the globe. We need people who will represent the masses in a world stage, and that's where we are lacking at this moment.